Um, wait. I don't think there is a director's cut version of the thing. I think it's just it gets confusing because there's a collector's edition, but that's just extra special features.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oop. And what? Oh, wait a minute. I have to manually get rid of that. Hello, hello, welcome, welcome, welcome. We are here to watch The Thing on the 43rd anniversary of The Thing. Which I didn't find out it was actually the anniversary until 2 days ago. And we are joined by Atya Tepes. Introduce yourself with your new model.
So here's the thing. Oh, my Fuji's still.
That's my bad.
Well, hey, it's all good. So here's the thing, as the joke goes. But hello, everyone. Yes, I actually not only am I actually going to use a model for a collab for once, but also hello, it is my Chibi model because yeah, I can't stop making models. I'll be making another one soon to make one even better than this. But I hope that you've had a lovely Friday. How's your Friday been, Merrick?
My Friday's been pretty fine overall. Ooh.
That's good.
Welcome. I just can I just call you Lurid? I don't know how to pronounce that name.
Oh, I think I know who you're talking to.
Yeah.
Ictalurid, because that is, I believe, one of I think it's the genus of catfish.
Oh. But right now we have just the movie up. This is going to go away. So it's going to be up until the title card comes up. And it'll just be here to allow you guys to have a visual way to line up your movie. If you don't have the movie already, it can be, sadly, it's not free anywhere, paying, unless you sail the 7 seas.
Or you have the DVD.
I have the Blu-ray.
Exactly.
But it can be rented on Amazon and on Apple TV if you have either of those services. Hello, Neon.
I think it's like Tree Fitty on both of those, just about, from a quick
Open
Google
says
check.
your model is very cute.
Oh, thank you.
What thing, you know, the thing, what thing, the thing, that thing, get absorbed. That seems like a Harvey Birdman skit. What thing, the thing, that thing, no, not that thing, that thing.
If you're really desperate to go see it, there's like a really famous little Discord gift that's called "So Here's the Thing." It's the entire movie in like a minute.
Actually, what's your history with this film?
So I think I've only gotten to see it within like the last 5-ish years.
Yep. The first time you saw it was within the last 5 years?
Yes, because my family, as much as they're like, oh, we're big cinemaphiles, no, they never show me any horror movies because I'm guessing they were just a bunch of wimps.
Oh, I watched this probably before I watched even Alien, and I watched Alien probably when I was far too young to watch Alien. That movie gave me a fear of the dark.
Well, mind you, I say that, but my family showed me Evil Dead when I was like 5, and I think that did a lot to color.
Yeah, I was shown this movie and Alien when I was about 5, so
that would do it.
This movie didn't really like give me any particular fears, but the Alien became my manifestation of just what if there's just a dark doorway, there's an alien in there. Alien is a fantastic film. I would love to do Alien Isolation and then do a watch along with Alien.
All I can think of with Alien is, have you heard the story of how Mandalore first saw Alien?
No.
Okay, it's a clip to watch sometime, perhaps like even before any of the Alien things that you do on here, but he saw it when he was like 5, and basically he and his dad watched it. It was a terrifying time, and his dad was basically like, "Don't let him get you," and then told him to go to bed.
Oh, you saw it at 6, Lurid. And Opus, you've only seen it recently yourself.
It's a good
We're
film.
not starting the movie. We're just double checking. I can't remember if there is actually a true director's cut, but we're watching the collector's edition, which I think is just the normal version of the film. I think there is a director's cut, but I think we're just watching the normal version on the Blu-ray. Let me. Oop. Wait. It's a little janky. I can't interact with the menu, so I actually have to bring up the movie. We're not starting the movie right now. We're checking the movie. 148. I didn't need to start the movie to do that. But 148. What? Okay, so 148, 30 seconds. That is, we are watching the 109-minute or 1 hour, 48-minute and a half version. So we're watching the standard version, effectively, is what that understands. So if you look at your timestamps on your version of the film, it should be 148, sorry, 1 hour, 48 minutes, and 34 seconds, or something very close to that. I was about to say that there's not a lot of special features on this disc. Then I stopped myself though, because the Blu-ray, the collector's edition, comes with an entire disc for special features.
Oh man, that's something it feels like we're really, really losing with like everything being digital. That and bloopers.
God, I remember when Pixar actually would make bloopers.
Mm-hmm.
That was so brilliant for an animated film to have.
I liked how they did both of them also sometimes for like some films because you both get to see the funny bloopers they would make and then also the funny bloopers of like the CGI acting up and stuff. Because like particularly it was like Brave had some really funny ones when they were trying to set up how the hair would render and stuff. You
Oh
get some
yeah.
really funny videos from that.
Pixar has done so much for animation for like 3D hair, from like Brave, as you mentioned. Well, actually no, that's Disney. Disney was Brave,
Disney and
wasn't it?
are Brave, I think.
Yeah, Disney was Brave,
It was
but
like both of them.
Pixar for The Incredibles, they like nearly melted their computers for Violet's hair.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine
Hair,
bloopers for The
hair is
Thing.
hair
There
is
might
really
be.
complex. Is the thing like drawing it and rendering it, and especially for like for modeling it with live 2D, it's also complex because you got to really make sure it bounces, works with physics, works with all your
Mm-hmm.
angles. So it makes sense to me.
Okay, but we will be starting shortly, but I'm going to run you guys through how this works. So I'm going to do a countdown. I'm going to do 10, then I'm going to go quiet, then say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Not that quickly. It's going to be, you're going to be able to get the rhythm of it. And it's not on 1, but it's on go or 0. I'm probably going to decide to. I'm not going to say 1 or the other, because I'm probably going to say the opposite like an idiot if I do. But pretty much after 1, I'll say go or 0, and that'll be our starting point. I will start the timer that you can see below me. That timer will be in line with the film, and you can follow along with it. So if your version crashes, or if you have to leave and I don't know why, but stop the film while you leave, or just anything happens, you can just use the timer to get back on track, lickety split. And I forgot to practice this before stream, so let me get that in proper location.
Let me just get my popcorn ready. There we go.
Okay. I'm not starting the film yet, but there is
Just
a methodology to this. I just need to check if...
got my snack.
Okay. Okay. It should be good. So, we are going to start the film. I hope everyone's ready. DVD and Blu-ray are peak eras of extra features. Specifically, I think DVD, because DVD you could just fit so much. They would just put so much on it, and that was their selling point. Supposed to go on the bathroom before the movie starts. Treat this like it. Actually, you know what? We're gonna give. You know what? If anyone has to go to the bathroom, we're gonna give. I'd say 30 seconds because I think 30 seconds should be long enough. So I'm gonna start the timer. This isn't for the movie. This is for a bathroom break. We actually do a stopwatch instead. Is that visible?
It's at lightning speed.
What?
Like, if it's a bathroom break, for 30 seconds, I gotta go piss at lightning speed.
Well, no, we'll do a minute. We'll do a minute break, and then when this minute is done, we will do the countdown, and then we will start the film. Ooh. This is not the countdown for the movie. This is the countdown for the bathroom break. So don't be fretting over nothing. So wait, when did you say you saw Alien though? That one was the one you said you actually got to see young, right?
No, not Alien.
No?
It was Evil Dead for me that I saw young.
Okay. Is the audience
Evil Dead 1 and 2. Oh, the audience, yeah. The audience was the one talking about
if you have
Alien.
to take a shit, if you have to take a crap, like that's on you. That's completely like you should have done that well before now.
That is by multiple means a BM there.
Oh my goodness. Pee now or forever hold your pee. Okay, I hope everyone peed. A minute.
Yes, yummy sparkling water.
That timer's gonna drive me insane if I don't remember to. Okay. So, I hope everyone's gone to the bathroom. Everyone is ready. As I said, oh crap, wait.
Merrick?
Yeah.
You're not sharing the screen yet on our end.
That's a good point. That is an excellent
It's like,
point.
hold on a second.
We'll wait another minute. There's a little bit of scuff. It's a VTube collab. Okay, wait a minute. She has realized a major error. Okay, let's go to screen share. And
yes, this is a fine film I'm watching here.
She has
there
popcorn.
we go.
I ain't got nothing. Because I had ramen. I had seafood ramen before here. Some nice salmon and shrimp. Amazing dish. Okay.
I had a chicken cutlet sandwich, so I am stuffed, honestly.
No, movie. Okay, so the player is being a little bit temperamental. Give me 1 second. Okay, it should be... Okay, it's good now. Everything can be lined up. So we are going to start now, chat. Very shortly, I'm going to start the countdown as 10. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. And again, this will be up. The little thing will be up here just until we get the title screen. I should have lowered my standing desk because I'm going to be standing this entire movie. Also, I just realized my microphone is not near me. It's going to ruin my audio quality.
That is a bit of a krill issue. I'm still using a headset mic, so I right now I am thriving.
That's a good mic for a headset.
The OBS filters are part of it, at least for streaming. This is just a Corsair. It works.
Desktop audio is off. Excellent. This is actually John Carpenter's first studio film. The movie he did before this was still independent. It was Escape from New York. Ooh, but this was his first, I guess you could say, big budget film. However, you can tell how big of a budget he got because those were what he had to settle for. He had to just do the titles on a black screen because he couldn't afford any more. So this was still very low budget.
Mm-hmm. He made all that budget worth it, though, I think.
Oh, yeah. He had all the experience of independent filmmaking, so he was able to make it work. Audio good for you?
Audio's good for me. People did try to make a co-op game kind of like The Thing. It's called Nuclear Nightmare, and it's It's
Somebody asked about
okay.
that last stream when we were playing the Thing game. Ooh,
Well, there's also the single
I
player
knew
one.
you would know what it is because you're the one who actually recommended it to me.
Mhm.
Now, this title screen is actually taken from the original The Thing movie that this is a remake of. John Carpenter
Hmm.
was very particular about recreating that. That was kind of more like an alien Frankenstein monster coming to Earth because they just didn't have the way to do it. This is more accurate to the book, in spirit at
Mhm.
least. I've not
Uh,
read the book, sadly.
have you gotten to read the short story that goes with this, though? Because
I
there's a
only.
short story about the film, particularly from the point of view of the thing.
No, I've not heard of that.
I can go look it up and link it afterwards, but it's pretty good.
Okay. Oh, and I need to, now that the title is gone, we need to not get
Oh,
copyright struck.
yeah, that'd be kind of bad. That'd be a bit of a
Let's get rid of
problem.
that.
Oop, it's gone.
I can't remember if they actually speak Norwegian or they just got somebody who is like, yeah, that sounds close enough.
They speak Norwegian enough that people who do know the Norwegian got spoiled watching the start of this.
Okay, so they are okay. So they did get a Norwegian. Did get
Mhm.
somebody actually speaking Norwegian. Because literally, if you watch the commentary, if I remember correctly, like Kurt Russell and like John Carpenter's like, yeah, I don't know what he's speaking. It's always a great sign.
God, the soundtrack.
Oh yeah, this was the first soundtrack that John Carpenter did not do himself, though he did assist with it. But
Mhm.
I forget the name, but it was the first one he didn't do himself. Though you kind of still feel like a John Carpenter soundtrack, especially if you've listened to his his Halloween movie with
Mhm.
Mike Myers.
It still has the proper energy of his work.
Yes, this movie was actually filmed. Uh, in a studio, of course, but these shots were filmed in Alaska on a glacier research center.
Certainly got the vibe right for actually
Yeah,
being in the Antarctic.
absolutely.
Yeah, I played Nuclear Nightmare, and I'll have to warn you ahead of time that if you do try to organize it, you need a lot of people for it to be fun.
Good. You'd think Alien. Somebody said like Alien was like the only movie to give them nightmares because they watched it when they were 5. A movie that gave me nightmares was E.T. because I had a nightmare where I went aboard the ship and never came back home.
Oh no.
Yeah, that was like just seeing Earth get smaller in the distance. Most terrified like nightmare ever.
That's pretty real.
E.T.
See,
scared the hell out of me, little goblin creature.
I I like remember and also don't remember watching E.T. It was a movie that sure existed.
I'm gonna turn up the audio on our end.
Yeah, I just turned up the stream volume myself on its own. So let me turn that down. No, it's a little up.
Yeah, I can't really increase it more than 10 decibels because
Mhm.
it'll start making the audio sound like scratchy or whatever.
Yeah,
But
no, it's all good.
yeah, this should be a lot better. This movie is actually, I think, what got Kurt Russell and John Carpenter interested in learning to fly.
Hmm.
Ooh. Because Kurt Russell actually does fly a helicopter in this movie. Doesn't take it off though. Didn't have that part
That
of the lesson done.
I always forget that part. Like, I remember a lot of the broad strokes of this movie because I have seen it recently. Bro is just straight sipping though.
I do like the explanation to why they just have incendiary grenades and flamethrowers. It's just like in case of emergency heat. You know, it's really cold up there. Sometimes you just need that stuff.
Better be a little too hot than a little too cold here, at least.
Fucking Butterfingers.
Mhm. Yeah.
One of the most embarrassing deaths in film.
It's up there with some of the stupider horror movie deaths.
I feel like it's understandable because those gloves, I could very much see just
Mhm.
that grenade just going right out of them.
Hi, Sable.
Okay.
And this is what language barriers get you.
Yeah. We just had to build that tower in Babel. Our arrogance, just too great.
They hit the tower.
Oh no!
Get out any tablet.
You gotta imagine what it would have been like for those people. There's like one minute you're talking to somebody, and then the next minute they're just going, "Askuta kashkundere doshtalande," and it's just like, oh. Just immediately realize, okay, we might have pissed off God.
Yeah.
One of his lesser punishments, though, considering, you know, the whole flood.
Then, I mean, we watched Prince of Egypt earlier already. We know how that goes. One whole helicopter in
Yeah.
pieces. I also remember like comments about the dog being kind of like a natural.
Oh yeah, yeah. In the commentaries itself, like they just talk about how the dog was absolutely like normally animal actors are really hard to deal with, but that dog's
Mhm.
amazing.
I think they were like uniquely stoic for an animal actor.
Yeah. During the commentary, actually, John Carpenter like praises the dog multiple times.
Mhm.
But actually, that line we were talking over it, but he says first goddamn week of winter. This
Mhm.
movie, so this is the first week of summer, right?
Mhm.
And this is the anniversary. The movie I also learned debut. This movie came out concurrent to when it's taking place. So if you watch this opening weekend in '82, the
Mhm.
movie well, like the idea is the movie. This just happened. Like this happened earlier the week you're watching it, effectively.
That would have been pretty good if it was a little more obvious and if it hadn't come out the same time as ET.
Yeah.
This movie got screwed in so many ways.
Yeah. It's just such a subtle touch though. Just that
Mhm.
first week of winter, which is the first week of summer in the northern hemisphere. So it's not only the anniversary of the film, but it's the anniversary of the events in the film. Ooh.
Mm. That was the Norwegian.
Yeah. It's actually funny on both commentary tracks. They bring up the fact that John Carpenter was called a pornographer of violence for this movie.
That's like how Event Horizon got looked at, in spite of everyone loves it now.
Oh yeah, that's another cult classic.
Mhm. Also known as I can't believe it's not 40K.
Yeah. The thing is kind of interesting because it's one of the few films where I don't know if it's fair to call it a cult classic anymore because it's kind of just
It's kind of
like
just a
it.
classic now.
Yeah, it still wasn't successful on release, but it's just like it is just a classic. Like it's not like say Rocky Horror Picture Show where it's still niche. It's not like
Hmm.
Event Horizon, which is still niche. Like this is just up there with things like Alien.
Hmm.
Russell has so much hair in this movie.
There was an era of fantastic hair, honestly.
Oh yeah.
Like past the era of the goofy big hair and into the era of just luscious locks.
He says to the helicopter pilot,
Hmm.
I know this guy better than you. He just looks at him. God, that hat is so goofy yet so cool.
It's so, in a way, it's rather fitting.
Yeah. It's
Just,
not assuming in some
mhm.
ways.
Everyone has their own ways of like little touches that just kind of shows
Uh,
who they are.
Every character has they don't like have individual character moments, but they're all so unique as characters they don't need them.
Hmm.
It's really impressive.
Mostly the hat and the hood because like it makes
Yeah.
it really goofy looking.
So the guy who's taking off is the co-pilot in the seat nearer to us,
Hmm.
and it's not until now is when Kurt Russell's flying. Ooh.
My only experience with helicopters is in Arma 3, and even in video games because Arma's a little more realistic than some. God, they are a touch difficult to fly.
Helicopters in games are either just kind of have like an auto fly mechanic or are one of the most painful things in existence.
Yeah,
I feel like there's
that
no
that
in between. In
that's where Arma is
EDF,
at.
in EDF, they are just you have
Hmm.
you can control altitude, nothing else.
I see.
Oh my god. Let me move this so it's not in.
Oh.
Oh, that's so old fashioned, just having a blood collection tin on the.
Hmm. Like for everything, this base is like really
Yeah.
fucking comfy looking.
This scene in particular, John Carpenter praised.
Hmm.
Like the dog wasn't directed to do that pause or anything. It
Hmm.
just did.
No, it just had a really good way to pace itself properly
Yeah.
to make it not really seem like a normal dog.
Ooh, used to play AH-64 longbow. Helicopters are insane to fly.
Oh no.
Helicopters are just pretty crazy. God. Even just being like IRL being near one when they're taking off is insane because they just
Mhm.
push because they have to how they fly is they push air directly down. They're VTOLs, but you feel that and you never think like you never see that of how like all that air gets pushed down, hits the ground, and then goes out in every direction.
I've only ever gotten to, like, be around helicopters when I was a kid because they would come around my school during career day, and, like, the pressure from them, and also everything that gets picked up by them is just kind of insane.
Yeah, as we see here.
Mhm. It's just very much an experience when you're, like, 7 and, "Oh my god, all this grass is everywhere, just flying in the air, and ow, my eyes." Those are my main memories
Why
of
did
it.
they cut the grass this morning?
Yup.
Has a shotgun like a real American.
As he should, speaking as the judger of shotguns and all boomer shooters.
That's very Western.
Mm-hmm.
God, my favorite gun in Red Dead is the shotgun. I run out of ammo in those in Red Dead 1 and 2 just because I favor it so much because it actually functions like a shotgun, so it's just a really overpowered weapon.
Yeah, like when shotguns actually are supposed to work, they feel really good. It's just most games somehow decide they have to balance the shotgun, and wow, that sucks. It's either the most inaccurate thing outside of 10 feet.
Well, how it started was in Halo 2 because it became a counter to the sword, and then
Mm.
everyone just did, and that makes perfect sense mechanically in Halo 2. But then
Mhm.
everyone decided we should do the exact same thing, even though we don't have swords with lunge mechanics in our game. So it's just very silly.
I mostly play single player shooters, so it's like most of the time there, the shotgun is the most powerful thing
Hmm.
because I mean, based off single player games, usually it's going to be based off of older stuff, such as the super shotgun from Doom.
Oh yeah. Actually, the
I actually don't
game, The
remember.
Thing, has an okay shotgun.
Mm.
It's spread. The shotgun spreads more than it should, in all honesty, but it still has range. Like its range is determined by its spread, not by just magically no longer existing after 2 meters.
Yeah. I think, like, honestly, one of the best games to run that actually was Helldivers in earlier patches felt like the perfect shotgun.
I like how the special effects sculptor for this, his solution to like if anything kind of looked a little off, he was just like, just put more goo on it, just put more
Mhm.
goo on it, put more blood on this sculpture.
Hey, it worked. It
Oh
looks
yeah,
really good.
oh yeah, like he was very worried during filming that like he was like, this doesn't look good, this is gonna look terrible on film. Some of the cleanest work you'll see in practical this movie.
Yeah. I think practical effects are actually making kind of a comeback, though, which is really nice to see.
Yeah. The thing is that practical can be the more economical choice in all honesty.
Mhm,
And also you can see as the actors and as the director what should be there. You know, like
mhm.
you know what's there. The thing is, a lot of special effects now are used for just like, oh, we'll just like pretty much redo the shot in post.
Redo the shot in post with people who don't have unions, so they can just abuse them for bottom dollar, which is really where the problem where a lot of that lies.
Hmm. I just remembered in this
Hmm.
collector's edition there is a bit of a problem where one version of the movie skips back by 10 minutes in the coming
Mm.
up sequence, and I don't know which one I selected.
Oh, well,
Well,
we're
we're
gonna
gonna have to
find
use the
out.
timer we might have to use the timer in a minute.
Yep.
Romulus had good practical. It did have good
Yeah.
practical. I wasn't the biggest fan of the writing, but the practical I will not insult. Ooh,
Yeah,
how they actually
Romulus.
found like a 8 foot dude to play the one
Mhm.
alien.
Romulus, the big thing to be said about it was that it was fan service.
Yeah.
Not in a bad way, though. It was a lot of people wanted for an alien film. I wouldn't say it was what people wanted for the alien film, but it's what a lot of people wanted.
Ooh, writing was rough. Acting was wow. Looted says. I think we're past the point where it would skip back, but I won't know for sure until we're out of Norway.
Mhm. God, the ice tomb.
I I can't. How do you say his name again?
Talarid.
Ictalarid.
I
You
believe
sound like
like
a creature from Walking with Monsters. No offense.
I believe the common catfish that's like eaten by us people is like Ictalarid forcatus or something.
But Ictalarid does sound like something from like Walking with Dinosaurs or Walking with like beasts or monsters.
Honest to God, though, talking about practical effects, walking with
I
dinosaurs,
know what lurid
man,
means. I
man,
wasn't
that was
thinking of
some
it
good
like that.
practical
I was just
effects.
thinking that's easier to say. Okay, we're gonna have to use the timer.
Oh, the audio cutout. Yeah, I think that was the weird cut.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
for some reason the top selected, so we'll catch back up to you guys. Um,
I've already seen this, so if we miss a little, it's no big deal.
yeah, I forgot about that. It's such a stupid like glitch. Or
Eh,
I'm
what can we do?
gonna try to get to um. Okay, so at 23 minutes, I'm gonna hit play again, because then we'll be
Just see
synced
what
up.
goes on.
Okay, we're synced back up, chat.
One meaty boy.
I just realized the ick and ictalurid probably it's just Latin for it. Well, ick, which is just fish.
Yeah, Ichthyus.
Ichthyosaur. Was
Yup.
it fish lizard? I love how almost not all, but like how so many dinosaurs are just something lizard, and when you find out what that something is at the front, it's so goofy.
The one that always gets me is Utah Raptor.
Utah
What?
Raptors peak.
What's this dinosaur? It's a raptor from Utah.
Yeah. You might be a second off, but I think it's fine.
Oh man, those AI generated hands and stuff.
It doesn't understand a human, but it gets the form, mostly
It gets
there.
the concept.
Ooh, it's organic AI. The dog does. One of my favorite
Mhm.
things is the idea of just like, does the thing know when it is the thing, or is it
Mhm.
triggered?
Honestly, the dog really it moves more like a cat in some ways.
Yeah. Oh my god, look at the feet. I always forget the right foot.
Mhm.
Got the witch fingers.
Crunchy.
Also amazing. I think this is the only thing I can compare this to is the dissection in Starship Troopers, if you remember that.
Oh
When they're
god,
like
phantom
dissecting the
now.
bug
Mhm.
and they just like are taking out the organs. Like these are like the two I mean, there's not a lot of movies that have dissections, but it's just amazing special effects that you just don't want to look at because it looks too real.
Mhm. And there
That's
also
why
on that topic is Original Alien with, how they did the, like, face hugger eggs and stuff.
uh actually
'Cause I think
that
they
one
used, like, stomach.
they actually got like seafood and whatnot. They got like clams and whatnot and put it in there so it just have the like it wouldn't have a fleshy texture. It would just literally be fleshy.
Mhm.
If you don't get it on the first guess, you always change your guess when they open the door one of the doors you didn't pick.
Oh, no, it's time for
Probability.
Monty Hall problems.
Monty Hall problems. I just watched James May prove it by using beer. James May and he had like was it 1/3 of beers were shook up. So like if somebody opened the beer, it'd like blast them in the face. So it's like beer roulette. And what it is there's 3 beers. He'd pick one, and then they'd take away one of the beers that isn't shook up, and then he'd change his guess, and he
Mhm.
proved the probability through beer. They also
Amazing.
got carbon dioxide. They also got low doses of carbon dioxide poisoning because they were inside a tent. And every time they opened up the can, that releases carbon.
That's amazing. I've never heard of that happening just with, like,
They had a
beers
lot
in
of
a tent.
beers. They got very drunk in more ways than one.
Oh, I couldn't imagine getting drunk on beer. Even though I can get drunk on cider, off beer, I think the fizziness would make me sick.
So clean.
Mhm.
Because that's a dog.
Discord stop. Why are people pinging me about a bad lady right now? I could go look at Hot Woman, but I wanna watch the movie.
That's a dog. Ooh, that's not a dog. But it looks still
Mhm.
good. It's in the exact same spot.
Yeah, that dog is just really good at not acting like a normal dog.
Yeah. Oh my god. It just kicks off so hard, this movie.
Mhm. I think Parasite Eve was so very inspired by this movie.
So many things were. The head
Mhm.
crabs in the first Half-Life are inspired
Mhm.
by it. The Flood, of course, are inspired by it. Just, it's, God, one of the, like, for, like, body horror just amalgamations, it's one of the most inspirational just pieces of fiction you got.
Mhm.
Oh no, don't do that.
Tried to get out, but,
Yeah.
alas, bath time. Bath time and, digesting acid.
Was that Stanford? What did that say? It said something
Don't
Ford.
know.
I don't think it said Stanford. I think I just saw the Ford.
Mhm.
Ooh,
Also kinda reminds me of horsehair worms.
ugh. Kurt Russell's character kind of shown to be like the most kind of cautious, you know. He
Mhm.
hears the thing, he kind of just goes like, "Well, something's wrong."
Mhm. You know that kinda, like, weirdo sense that something's wrong.
Yeah.
He has a very good gut feeling to him. I mean, if there's as good of a time as any,
Yeah.
it's gonna be here. Some things do require a liberal application of fire.
Already fusing with another dog.
Mhm. Also the sound design that's just
Oh yeah.
also so good for this.
Now this is not the only example, but this effect was done by just doing it in reverse. Ooh.
Mhm.
And but it looks so good because it's just done so
Mhm.
quickly.
It's done cleanly with the camera work.
Yeah. What's that? Not the dogs.
I don't think anything's those dogs. That's all I can
Well,
say.
it's a yeah
Oh,
no.
son, bro. Hell of a time for the dancing shrimp, because right now, oh boy.
Oh. Hello, Sunbro. Welcome if you've just joined us. Oh my god, that's hard to look at. The timer is there for you to follow along, for you to sync up if you need to. The eyes, man.
Oh yeah, the effects are so good.
Oh god, another flower.
Hmm.
The meat flowers. An interesting thing about this is, if I remember correctly, no, it's not this one. It's a later one, but there's actually people behind the like scenes who are having to operate the puppet while it's on fire.
Yeah, I can see that.
Not that one though.
Well, I can imagine them how they could do that because a lot of like fire control stuff in Hollywood is actually a pretty interesting topic.
Oh, there wasn't fire control in this movie. This was before that.
This is before they had the like cooling gel and stuff.
This is before they're walking around with road flares that are not allowed to be used in the way that they're using them.
Mhm.
Like Hollywood would not allow, like these flares now would be CGI or something. Like they are not allowed to be used because they are like they're just erupting with toxic chemicals, and they are just again just throwing off just like stuff
Mhm.
everywhere. The actors got burned doing this film because the flares just again are just flaring out. They're just throwing just fuel every which direction.
Yeah, just as much as like every film now and before still showed people just carrying flares like that. Man, he took that one leg off like a crab leg.
Yeah, it's so brutal. Ugh.
Mhm. Looked like it was a goat eye almost there, or goat
Yeah.
kind of anatomy.
And here we start to get the paranoia.
Mhm. Like, you're kind of expected to quarantine a new animal no matter what, really.
Yeah.
So the way the paranoia starts to flow is just
Yeah.
so good.
The crew themselves were kind of just like, by themselves or like kind of isolated from the wider world, like for the uh Alaska shots. But even
Mhm.
here, there was actually on set only one woman worked on the set for the film. That's by coincidence, but it's
Yeah.
also like Kurt Russell and John Carpenter have credited that to just like how they just can feel so natural among guys because they are just pretty much among guys in this film.
Mhm. No, no, I understand
That
that
it
kind of
creates like
vibe.
a different psychology.
Mhm. A very natural kind of, just vibe between everyone.
Yeah.
Just dudes
I
being
always
dudes.
forget every time I watch this movie that that guy just has a nose ring. That the doctor
It's
has a
because
nose
it
ring.
doesn't. It just doesn't really show up very much.
It's also just kind of a weird thing to have, like in any time, but especially like early '80s. Among Us,
And
Among Us was
Among Us,
inspired in part by this movie.
Among Us.
Among Us.
But part of it is you can kind of see that this group is a bunch of freaks and geeks.
Yeah, yeah, they're all unique.
Mhm.
From a glance, you can tell each person is different. Everyone has a slightly different body type. Everyone has a slightly different personality. Like, you cannot mistake anyone for anyone else, even when they don't have a lot of lines.
Mhm.
It's excellent casting in that regard. Absolutely amazing special effect coming up.
Yeah, that's like a
That's a map
painting.
painting. That is just
Yeah.
completely a map painting, but the shadow effect on it is what sells it.
Mhm. Well, honestly, that's kind of how you sell stuff with live 2D. So
Uh,
that's honestly a good thing to study right there, honestly. Because like just that little the way you can use just a little bit of light to push
And this,
making something look
the
3D.
latch,
Yeah.
the latch is actually real. Everything else is
Mhm.
map painting except for them in that shot. And so that integration just goes really hard. Also, a big thing is though that in these older movies, they knew if you lingered too long on these shots, you could like
Mhm.
start breaking down how they're not real. So they always have the shots never last more than say like 5 seconds.
Yeah, they're being careful with that.
Yeah.
Still, regardless, that is a skillful painting.
Oh yeah,
Just at the same
absolutely.
time.
But nowadays, like they'll be like, look at this CGI, and you're just like, it looked bad like
Oh.
30 seconds ago. Why is it still on
Mhm.
screen?
Honestly, that's part of what makes Andor so good. It's all sets.
Yeah.
This is again, if people have not seen Andor, go see Andor.
Well, I think it is Opus who's recommended it repeatedly.
I also must recommend it. It is very good practical effects and like
Uh,
it's a spy kind of thing.
yeah, it's a bit of a political and espionage thriller from what I hear.
Mhm. Man, that shot kind of reminds me of like refineries.
What I like about this, and we're not going to bring up any other movie because no other movie exists, be quiet, is how we never know the original form of the thing. We don't know what it
Mhm.
first looked like because the question is, does it even have an original form with how its biology works? And/or the Star Wars show. Ooh,
Mhm. It's really good. Is
yeah.
all I can say. Really love the use of light here too.
Oh, yeah. Now, this was not computer animated. This was all hand done because computers
Mhm.
couldn't do this animation in '82. As weird as
Mhm.
that might sound. And one of the concerns of the film is just how like this might seem a little too sci-fi for a movie that's happening right now. Ooh.
Hmm.
But now it's so humble by today's standards.
Well, it's a good emulation of what they would at most have available at the time.
This
Just, slightly more.
ooh. Yeah, but actually in the commentary track like John Carpenter does say it's just like, yeah, this just isn't like this is like we were really concerned this was just way beyond like what computers could do even in the future, and
Hmm.
yeah, that's not true.
No, it really is not. Doing all sorts of stupid shit on computers now.
Intruder organism 75%.
Hmm.
I don't remember the exact time, but it's either 2.5 or 3 years as if you calculate the amount of time that comes up here, which I do like. It's not instantaneous, it's very quick, but it's
Yeah.
not instantaneous. And it shows that like there's still some amount of time that would have to occur for all this
Hmm.
to happen.
Like they could
Might
do
even be
something about it.
over 3 years, but I just can't remember.
No, because it's about 1,000 days.
Mm. But did it say
1,000
days
days
or
plus a few
hours?
extra. No, I thought it said 27,000 hours.
Okay. Is that a model kit? What is that?
Those are car model kits.
I wasn't even looking at the. I was looking at the one on his desk. Oh yeah, he also has them up there.
Hmm.
He has a plane and cars.
And model kits are a great way to entertain oneself.
Oh yeah. Gunpla, exactly. Well known on
Hmm.
this channel. All right. I haven't announced on YouTube yet. The winner of the Gunpla poll across site with a total of 17 votes overall, winning with a total of 12 of the 17 votes was the Amazing Red, which all I have to say is holy crap, you guys like the color red. The Zuna did
Apparently.
come in second, and one person voted for the Zaku. Whoever you are, you're awesome, but this one person voted for the Zaku.
No
Oh my
Zaku
god.
today.
Shog's audience loves Zaku. She loves Zaku's. My audience
Oh,
just
the way it shifts.
my audience cares about everything else. They like Zaku's, but whenever I put on a poll, it always gets outcompeted. That little breathing motion that it had.
Hmm. The way that they do all this in the foreground is just so good. Foreground, but out of focus.
But just real quick, I should have said this before the movie started. But this Amazing Red will not be next week, but it'll be in like 2 to 3 weeks. Ooh. Next week is either going to be the Hobby Hyzak or the Gundam X, depending if I finish Gundam X this weekend. No, but Char Zaku would probably win. Char
Mm.
Zazabi won. It actually is the one thing that beat the Red Gundam. Ooh. It barely beat the Red Gundam when they were both on a pole. You know, the realization.
Hmm. The oh shit, nothing's gonna go well.
Yeah, they're not dead yet. What did he just
Hmm.
say? And this is such a great moment where we get to see everything that they just said.
Hmm. I don't thing that blood was really
Wait,
missing was a little
wait.
yellowing. Oh yeah.
No, wait. Quiet. He drops the keys.
Hmm.
That's very important for later. Because one of the biggest mysteries in this movie are around those keys. And he just dropped them. I don't know if it's not this part, but later on, Kurt Russell is very close to an explosion. It's not this
No,
part. They
this
just
part's
set him
just
on.
fire.
Yeah, this part's just fire. Literally. Yeah, you can see how the flare is just spitting out all that stuff.
Hmm.
And AI hands. He's not
It's
fully
honestly that fucking
rendered.
sound,
He's not
though.
finished rendering.
That sound is just so fucking good.
Oh yeah. That cry of it's hard to tell what it is, if it's trying to like say something with incomplete lungs, if it's crying out in terror that it's been discovered, if it's crying out in rage. It's just too alien to understand.
Hmm. Honestly, I might just be rereading that short story after this because the short story is from the point of view of the thing. Man, the way the film just picks up, though,
Yeah.
it's just it just becomes so high octane. Sus.
Yeah.
Like, even minus the connotations of Amogus, that is just
Yeah, it is.
deeply suspicious.
Why everyone goes silent? Just because it's a tense part of the movie. Ooh,
Yeah,
it's a
the movie when it picks up like this is just like
yeah.
shit. You want to kind of lock in and watch.
Yeah, but all that stuff just torn out.
Mm-hmm. Picked out with a pickaxe from the
Actually, a
look of
fun
it.
fact about that scene is that they actually had an enlarged helicopter for the interior shot.
That really worked to kind of force the perspective.
Oh yeah.
Like it's kind of like how you'll see a lot of weird stuff with like 3D animation and stuff.
Just going crazy.
Hmm.
I've always wondered. I don't want to spoil it and like certain things of like assimilations and when they happen.
Yeah.
Ooh, but I'll talk about it later. Ooh. Yeah, and then ooh.
Yep.
Again, Kurt Russell's character being shown to be like cool-headed, being able to think through things quickly.
The reliable and kind of
Yeah.
pragmatic guy, who also is shown at the beginning, breaks the rules.
I do like how he's just saying what's to come in this whole section.
Mm-hmm.
I fucking love that delivery.
Yeah.
And throws
Just so fucking
throws the pistol like he's a Johnny Quest villain.
Mhm. Fucking punches.
Yeah, that punch sound effect is so
Mhm.
hard. Good shot, McCready. You just punched the crap out of that old man. Like, this is one thing. I don't believe Blair's infected at this moment because
Mhm.
there's no reason to kill the dogs if he was.
I
In
think
fact,
he had a mental break about the whole thing.
yeah.
Like, I'm also trying to like think how to phrase things to not spoil some things.
Yeah, yeah. You don't want to say who's infected before they are or anything. Ooh.
Mhm.
Why kill the dogs? Because they were things. They got sprayed on by the thing and they would have had their cellular makeup slowly from the inside being turned into one of those.
Yeah, they were just that exposed to
Yeah.
it.
It doesn't only assimilate you by tearing you open and inside out and becoming you. It can also assimilate you on a cellular level, piece by piece, like a disease, like a cancer.
Hmm.
It's just that it's a lot quicker for it to do it the whole tear you open way. It peed all over them. That's one way to put it.
It pulled the whole clown with a flower that's forte kind of thing. Except the thing.
I like how he looks at the bottle because he's like, I can't drink that because I could get infected if he's infected.
Hmm.
Because Blair's the only person who knows just how like bad it is, but it drove him mad.
Hmm.
He's like a scholar in a Lovecraft story. Ooh,
That that is the actual problem with the game, is that even if you play perfectly, it just will randomly have the thing start happening.
wait, what?
That's for the video game anyway.
Oh, the Thing game?
Yeah.
Ooh,
Not Nuclear Nightmare, which is based on the thing, but the thing itself.
I only
The
got like
game.
partway through. I only got partway through it. Ooh, only like halfway through it. I'll probably finish it next week.
Oh, this part though.
Oh yeah. He has his keys back. Just gave the keys
Yep.
to him. So at some point, the keys got back to him. But as we'll see later, he doesn't remember getting the keys back at any point.
Hmm. Well, it's
Ooh,
like you said, he knows everything about the organism.
yeah. Ooh,
Wait,
what?
incubates itself too is just also something.
Was that another game?
No, no, just in this movie, really. You know?
Oh yeah. God, that man has old man eyebrows.
Yeah, his eyebrows are fucking explosive.
And the suspicion lays in. Ooh,
Hmm.
ooh. What's the point of the glass? What's the point of putting in a case like that?
Hmm.
What's the point of the lock, rather?
Because if it was real glass, it would still be hard to break and hurt people.
You got Bo Bridges' eyebrows, Opus. Ooh,
One of those things. Oh, he almost said the name of the movie.
what? Oh, one of those things.
Yes. Sorry, I like the stupid, they
Yeah.
said the movie name point.
I don't know if they ever say the like words exactly the thing,
No, they
but they do
don't.
refer to it as like that thing and what as
Hmm.
he just did whatever that thing is.
Hmm.
Just all laying and all becoming that little bit more crazy over it.
Hmm.
But also here he's relinquished his power, but I like this moment.
Hmm.
Oh, that's about to come up. Oh, I like how that bit showed
Hmm.
tension between three people, but also
Yup.
again how smooth Kurt Russell's character is.
Yeah.
But now they now know there's a threat and they now know it can affect people.
Hmm.
So
It's
now
not
not
just
only do we
them.
have the paranoia setting in, but we have the
Yup.
planning beginning. We now know that a chess game is happening. But the problem is you don't know which pieces are yours and which pieces are the enemies.
Hmm.
Ooh. Just all the tension.
Mm-hmm.
It's just one of those movies that's easy to talk during the beginning, but a little harder as it goes on.
Yeah, it's just the way it keeps picking up and picking up.
McCready going to be talking about how does the tethered clothes, which will, I'll just say, will be used later on in a very clever way. One of the good things about this movie is the fact that the thing thinks. It's not just
Mhm.
a mindless monster. It knows, even though how powerful it is, just how vulnerable it is. And so it very rarely, it only comes out and attacks when pushed into a corner. It only comes into its bestial mode when it's has no other options left. It wants to use subterfuge because that's the safest option for it. And it
It's what it's
is,
best at.
well, as we've already seen with the blood sample, 3 people
Mhm.
are now out of commission, whether or not they're a thing or not. Those,
Mhm.
all 3 of them, because one was spent too much time with the dogs, so he's under
Mhm.
suspicion. The 2 other ones were the only ones with access to the blood, to everyone's knowledge, because they don't know
Mhm.
about the key thing that we know about. You know, we
Yep.
know that anyone could have gotten the blood because the keys were left on the floor. But because of that, it's taken out not only it's taken out the would-be leader of the group and
Mhm.
the doctor of the group. Ooh, on edge, just grabbing the the whatever that is.
In the show, something with a flask could work until it breaks.
Is that still a flask? I can't remember. Yeah, I
I
was
think that might be
getting
an Ehrenmeyer.
I was
No,
getting
not an
flask
Ehrenmeyer.
and beaker confused.
Uh, Beaker
I'm
is more
thinking
going to be.
beakers are the straight down ones. You can remember because beaker looks like a beaker.
Mhm. And I remember when Pyrex was actually good.
Hmm, what?
Oh.
Oh, you remember when Pyrex was capital Pyrex instead of off-brand
Mhm.
licensed lowercase Pyrex? Hmm, I don't know why it goes outside here. I'll be completely honest with you.
He's spooked by whatever he saw.
I guess so. It's just like you want to be able to see if something comes at you from any angle. You don't want to
Mhm.
be around. You don't want to be like have somebody come at you from around the corner.
Fear leaves you at ends with rational thought.
But then we have a little bit of a reveal here. Some torn up clothes of McCready.
Mhm.
I just realized.
Mhm.
I just realized why he wants to go with Childs. Ooh. Oh, that's a bunch of women. They go to check on Blair for a very famous scene.
Very famous scene you even drew recently.
Ooh, yes. I don't think I can get that up on stream right now because I think it'd take too long. But
You can always show it afterwards.
I recreated this scene in a drawing because there's a little piece of comic relief in the movie. Very dark humor. just right there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
With the noose between him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all better now. Ooh. Talking like a Lebowski. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, man. I'm the dude. You can trust me. So they had to burn through those flares all the time. It must have been satisfying just getting rid of them like that, just throwing them into the snow.
Mm-hmm.
That's a hell of a thing to do.
Mm-hmm. I know. Desperate times against unknowable
Yeah.
horrors.
Oh. And again, there's just like little things.
Mm-hmm.
But now McCready's gonna be alone
Yep.
with I can't remember names worth a damn. I've seen this movie so many times, but if it's not
Oh, good.
Childs or Fuchs or Blair or McCready, I just it just leaves my brain.
Mm-hmm. It's one way to make it work.
Yeah.
It's just like playing COD Zombies.
What I like about this shot is not only does it set up, the heart pain, which will be important later on in the movie, but
Mm-hmm.
just cutting from him, and then in the same position, you have him,
Mm-hmm.
which is very relevant later in the movie. Ooh, there's little things like that where you just can't appreciate them in the moment. Again, the hot-headed nature of Childs works so
Mm-hmm.
good as like a soft antagonist in this film.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone has to get back. And now,
Mm-hmm.
ooh, one hell of a
Hell of a threat.
yeah.
They pulled the same trick.
We are lucky virus evolution pass and don't create something like this.
Mm-hmm.
And there's his. Ooh. Now,
Mm-hmm.
one of the most famous scenes of the movie coming up.
Mm-hmm. Like, I haven't as much to say because, like, the movie
Oh
just
yeah,
it just keeps
it
rolling
speaks for
so
itself so
good.
well, and he's gonna get more flares. He's just
Mm-hmm.
cradling that thing like a baby, just ready,
Mm-hmm.
all ready if he has to go, everyone goes. But they're gonna try to bring him back. Oh god, everyone is just at peak paranoia, and everyone's looking at each other.
Mm-hmm.
Slow palming of the blade.
Yup.
You know. But all the focus is on who's going to attack McCready.
Mm-hmm.
But the real
That
threat,
scene.
yeah.
Yup.
And that is an actor without arms, and then they cut back to the Blair
Mm-hmm.
actor. But in the wide shot, they just got a guy, they put a prosthetic mask on him for that quick shot.
Mm-hmm. It worked.
It's like in what is it, Spider-Man 3, where they actually got a guy without an arm so they could do the punch through of Sandman.
Mm-hmm. Oh man,
Oh yeah, this thing.
this thing though, yeah.
This special effect always gets me. The
Mm-hmm.
like head tearing, because it's like you
Yeah.
have to get the elastic just right to get that. Ooh.
Oh,
Eh,
it's so gross.
oh, it is. They actually made it green so it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't as graphic. That's why early on in the film, when it's like the corpses and whatnot, it's red, but when the thing is alive, they make it green. So
Mm-hmm.
it's not just just red organs and whatnot. But this is another one of those shots in reverse.
Yup.
And then that slow moment. Ooh.
Mm-hmm. Ooh.
Oh yeah, just da 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 da.
Mm-hmm.
Waiting for it to burn to make sure it's as dead as possible.
And not
Still, yeah.
noticing the head crawling away.
I did like the homage to what's about to happen in It Part 2. When they had Pennywise's head become a spider.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty nice. But the fact of just the rapid metamorphosis this creature is capable of.
Mm-hmm. When put under pressure, this shit is happening.
But this,
Oh yeah.
I was already closed up like the hole that was there.
Mm-hmm.
But then, Now, what I like about this scene is, as it's crawling away,
Just
he
so
doesn't say
slow.
anything until Windows sees it.
Mhm.
And that's something I didn't pick up on until, like, not recently, but a few years ago, where he just watches it go, and he doesn't say a single thing, but then Windows is like, what are you looking at? And then he says, you have to be kidding me.
Mhm.
Ooh. And I feel like I kind of spoiled what's to come by saying that, but... Ooh. You're getting a little close to me there, buddy. Yeah,
Mhm.
he literally says, stop it, Clark. Oh, God. That'll buff out.
Mhm.
I love the... It's like rational paranoia, because the fact that it's like they're tying up dead bodies, because the thing could just, again,
It could
rise
just be
back
in
up.
one of them. Yep.
Yeah. I like how McCready's is strapped like a suicide bomber at this point, though. It just has all
Mhm.
the TNT just wrapped around himself.
He's just ready to rumble.
Oh, yeah. He's just ready to go and take whoever wants to come with him.
Mhm.
I like everyone's expression, like, in that
Mhm.
lineup. I love how Childs, Keith David's character, is just like, he just doesn't give a damn. He's just like,
Mhm.
he's just that kind of personality. Was just like, I hate this man. It is just... that this scene gets me to cringe because
From the
ooh,
thumb.
yeah, all it is actually there for like a split second. You can see it. How they do
Mhm.
it is it's just there's a little hose on the other side of the thumb.
Yeah, I was assuming there's like a little swipe of
Yeah,
blood on the other
you
side
can
of the
see it
scalpel.
there, even though they didn't show like them squeezing the blood out. But with you
Mhm.
can't see it with this shot, this coming up shot. But yeah, how they do this is if it's so bad to see. There's a little hose right behind his, ooh,
Mhm.
and it's
It
just a little
works well.
bag that he breaks,
Mhm.
and it looks so uncomfortable.
Clean.
God,
It
Windows
it
gets
looks
the shit
uncomfortable,
beat
but
out
so
of him.
fucking clean. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And this is another trick shot, just like where with the dog, they had the dog, then they had the prosthetic, then they had the fake dog, then they had the real dog. They do the same thing with McCready's hand coming up
Mhm.
because just like ooh, got that menacing look. Now this doesn't apply to the rest of the movie, but it was purposeful that he didn't have an eye reflection in these shots that everyone else does, except for ooh,
Windows.
except for Stoner. No, Windows has eye
Oh,
reflection.
yeah.
Everyone
No,
but
you're right.
Stoner has a spark in their eyes.
It became one of those things they really tried to pick out in like every other scene
Yeah.
since.
But the cinematographer or the whatever the guy who shot the film, I think it was a cinematographer, has actually said that like has actually said this. It doesn't apply to the rest of the film. It's specifically this scene
Mhm.
because it's not something that you can manage in the rest of the film consistently.
Yup.
I remember seeing a theory online where it's like, oh, what if McCready was infected all along? And I'm just like, okay, well, like, this doesn't make sense, not only because the blood test, it's like, well, he might have swapped out his blood. No, it doesn't make sense because he has everyone tied up. at this point, he could just infect everyone and win.
Yep.
Like, that's why it doesn't make sense. Not because, oh, like, he could have swapped out his... No, it doesn't make sense because he wins at this point if he's the thing. Everyone is tied up.
Yeah, instead, the thing just wanted to make him into, like,
There's the fake hand.
a kind of a false flag.
Yeah. Yeah. Then...
Yep, that scene.
Yeah. And then they just have it on, like, a tilted surface here, and so it all just runs down. And then this transformation is so clean. Just how he's just... does the tremoring, the eyes... Because McCready dropped his flamethrower in surprise.
Yep,
That's
it's
why
not
his is
working right.
malfunctioning. And that's the floor. They just dropped him on the floor for that shot. Oh my god.
Yep.
And then he just grabs him and just gives him a good shake like a dog with a chew toy. Just I like how you can see how it almost seems that also his arms are like biting into his arms. Is such a violent creature when it needs to be.
Yep.
But as I said earlier, it doesn't act until it has no more recourse. Oh, poor Windows.
Yep.
And this is the scene I was talking about earlier where... Is that Kurt Russell's stunt double? Wait a minute. That, in that wide shot for it... that looked like Kurt Russell's stunt double, not like Kurt Russell. But in this shot, Kurt Russell was a little closer to the explosion than he thought he was. I think he actually he actually throws a real stick of dynamite for this shot.
Yeah, by the way, he got shield himself there.
He's startled as hell. That is not acting. That's him like, oh shit, that was real close. He's a little shell shocked.
Method acting.
This is the scene where there's puppeteers right on the other side. And it's just...
Or Windows.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Windows is the one character I feel the most sorry for. But there's puppeteers on the other side, but they have to operate it, their arms through the wall while it's on fire. And it's just shit that you could not do today. Because they would just be, for very good reasons, they'd be like, that's too dangerous. Kurt Russell just like, I'm not holding it in my hand anymore. So careful. I'm not making that mistake twice.
That shit spooked him.
I like how there's kind of like a trust now, though, between at least McCready and him. Even though he tried to kill McCready, he's like, okay, well, I made a mistake. But even with Childs, he's like, okay, well, we know I'm not one. I know you aren't one. But again, this movie, even though I like how this movie has good comic relief with scenes like that. Like this, he's just like, get me out. But with the fact that there's no sarcasm or jokes or anything. It's more just a scene that makes you laugh is what the comic relief is. And with this scene right here with what he says now. Well, in a second when it cut back to him. When he starts talking.
And the rare F-bomb, too.
It's such an understandable, like, circumstance to be...
It's a very dry
is
comedy.
Strung out. Everyone is just
what has
on
to be
edge.
said when there's comedy in this. It's very dry, very real.
Ooh, and there's Keith David leaning like leaning like we've seen before. Fun fact about this movie, John Carpenter had no idea who was infected because he told the scriptwriter not to tell him, like, who's infected when. Like, he knew who was infected, like, of course, when they become a thing, but he did not know
Yeah.
when they were infected. The
The
only person
wind
who
and the
knows
spring
that,
of infection.
yeah, the only person who knows that is the script writer, because John
Mhm.
Carpenter wanted to be able to direct the actors as naturally as possible and as
Mhm.
unbiased as possible, and he wanted the actors to not know when they're a thing, so that way they don't have a part where they subconsciously transition into the thing.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. And he also makes the method of infection unclear.
Mhm.
So for the guy who had a heart attack, it's unclear if he was assimilated in a traditional sense or if he had a heart attack because he was being internally assimilated, as we mentioned earlier. That his
Mhm.
body, that he effectively died because the thing was being reborn inside of him. Or if that's this, or if the thing was just making that because it was like, I have no dog, so I'm just gonna make crab creatures.
Arsonization is eternal.
Even in space. In space, no one hears you skitter.
In space, no one hears you crab.
Creep.
Crab.
And as we see here, Blaird's has been a busy little bee, you know?
Mhm.
He's been left alone in the cabin, and what's a man to do with no gunpla or anything, you know? You man get some hobbies is all. And
The
they're going to
male
be
urge
very
to dig a
judgmental
hole.
towards it. I think it's unfair, you know? They see this and they think he's
Yeah,
infected.
look, it's the male urge to dig a hole and build
Yeah.
a car.
Yeah, I mean,
He's just
I don't
playing
know.
My Summer Car, form of, Norwegian.
Yeah, this is like, I think they're just being a little, I think they're just jumping to conclusions here. Blair's a pretty smart dude.
Oh.
I really should watch this movie and make a timeline and who's where when. Ooh, I really should do that.
I think others
And
also have probably done it
and
because, like, people love this
I
film.
forget what I actually forgot the name for that. But the not reactor, but the whatever, the power plant room, and now
Mhm.
Keith David is gone or he's not in the doorway anymore.
Mhm.
I did find it funny while playing the
Mhm.
thing. I actually pointed out how the sets, though they tried to get it accurate to the movie, how the sets aren't accurate in the game.
Mhm.
Because the coat room is like where the infirmary is, and the infirmary is completely has like a different design. It's just a little weird. Like it's accurate until it's not.
Mhm. Just a little off.
Childs runs off, and his excuse, I'll just say as later, is that he saw someone. And for any other character, I'd be like, okay, no, bullshit, like that's stupid. But for Child's character, because how Keith David has been set up throughout this
Yeah,
film,
how he's been
you're just
playing
like, you're like,
himself.
yeah, no, he'd go after a dude. He'd be like, I'm not waiting for McCready. I see him.
Mhm.
You know, like they're there, so that must be Blair. So
Mhm.
like, if Blair's gotten out, I need to get him.
Yeah.
And I want to go back to the beginning of the film when Kurt Russell destroys his chess computer and how this whole
Yep.
movie is a game of chess. How it just showed, though, how kind of how petty McCready is and how he's just like, no, I will
How he plays against the
absolutely,
rules.
yeah, I will absolutely, like, if I cannot win this game, I will just make it so you can't win either.
Mhm.
Ooh. He is absolutely, I'm going to take my ball and blow it the hell up kind of guy.
Mhm.
But also like how the guy who had a heart attack, if you were listening, he actually says when they were like debating whether or not to let McCready in, he says it wants us to
Mhm.
fight. It's like it's trying to divide us. I like how throughout the film we don't know
It's so
when he's
true.
infected, but like it seems that his whole like strategy with that guy is to
Mhm.
be unassuming because it's like, oh hey, do you want the power? And he's probably infected by then, but we aren't 100% sure. But when he's like given like the option to be leader, his thing is like, no, I can't be leader because he doesn't want
Mhm.
eyes on him. He wants to
Mhm.
be unassuming.
Yeah.
Ooh. And again,
No, that makes a lot of sense.
it's not until McCready has all the cards in his hands with the dynamite does he,
Mhm.
do a gambit and take out the doctor and, do that whole thing that he does with the chest opening.
Mhm.
But it also shows that like the thing also won't play fair.
Yep.
That it's very
Well,
cunning and just
there's a choice line from the end of the short story that I can't say exactly on stream, but it resonates through and is really just applicable through the whole watching because this is the first I've watched it after reading that.
yeah, the one thing is also how John Carpenter directed the film is that even though the alien is bad for us,
Mhm.
both Kurt Russell and like John Carpenter acknowledge the thing is just a life form from another planet. It wants
Yeah.
to survive as much as we do. It's
Mhm.
just a battle of survival.
Incompatible.
This whole film, yeah, it's just
We and it are simply incompatible.
I like how we don't know if like the alien was a sample aboard the ship, if it was the pilot. We just don't know. There's a lot of just unanswered questions in this whole film, and that's just how they like it. Because it's
Mhm.
not important. The important thing is just the whole point of that is just how it got here. Ooh. And now that it's here, how do we deal with it?
Mhm.
And then there's this.
Love that.
That line.
Just yeah.
I wouldn't be putting that flare so close to my
Mhm.
I like how he's also souped up for explosion.
Mhm.
I always forget Null's name because Null's is such an odd
He's a
name.
very low key guy too.
Oh, he's a low key guy. A good actor though. Actually, Kurt Russell and John Carpenter only had like great things to say
Mhm.
about him. They're just setting things up.
Yep.
Again, just McCready just following through. It's just like if I can't have it, I'll just destroy everything. And all this was
Mhm.
just junk. This was just junk they found, and it's just like, why do they have this here? And if you listen to the commentary, there's like, it's just here. Like it
It's
might have
just
been
a
from like
storage
previous.
area.
It's just like from maybe previous expeditions or something. We don't
Mhm.
know. It just seemed like a good thing to have here to make it spookier.
Mhm.
Little haunted house feel. And Blair just coming up.
Yep.
And Blair, because again, he's
And the
strapped
way
with the
he
bombs. Oh,
fuses.
yeah. The fact that he just puts his fingers in him. But because he's
Mhm.
strapped, he has to take him out quietly, but also he
Mhm.
can't give him a chance to blow himself up.
Mhm. Like that's just one of the nastier ones
Oh,
for
yeah.
being like.
Just puts his hand in his mouth and assimilates him.
Mhm.
And yeah, then you have that quick
Yep.
shot.
Mhm. It's so good.
We don't see what happens to this guy, but I always feel sorry for whatever it is.
God, okay. After the film, I gotta tell you, I don't remember the name of it, but I saw some group trying to make something like the thing. It was not good.
Oh, God.
And now McCready is on his own.
Yeah. I like how just the frost is so absolute in this movie, and it just
Mhm.
builds up more and more. How his hat, even though at this point it shouldn't still be white like that, it's just dyed white at this point.
Yeah, it's just
It shows that
everything's
it
just
is,
coated.
yeah, it's just either death by fire or ice.
Hmm.
Ooh. McCready's just like ready to light it.
Hmm. He's ready to go.
And he lights it. And again, we see the thing only abandoned subterfuge, only abandoned stealth when it's just like, okay, well, he lit it.
When
Like,
this is all that's left.
shit. He's just like,
Mhm.
okay. And that's a little bit of stop motion. One of the few moments of stop motion. Ooh. Or
No,
this
there's
is
the
the
real
stop motion.
stop motion
Yeah,
bit.
that's the
Yeah.
stop motion. But originally, this part was gonna be stop motion, but then they didn't think the lighting was right, and it was more of a full body shot, and they just felt like it
Mhm.
just wasn't the right perspective, so they went back and actually just did all of this.
And
Ooh.
it's really good.
Yeah, the stop motion looks like this. They just thought it just didn't have the right. Well, that
And
those strings, those
I imagine the
strings.
stop motion didn't look as organic, honestly, of all
It
things.
didn't. It looked a little more jittery, and the wide shot of the stop motion, like they couldn't get it in close because stop motion is
Mhm.
more wide shot focus because it's a miniature.
Mhm.
Um, but because of that, like it just didn't look quite appropriate to have the whole
Mhm.
thing in shot. And again, the big thing that John Carpenter said, if I remember correctly, is just the lighting didn't seem right.
Mhm. Ooh, sorry.
Great fireball.
Mhm.
Oh, the little fireball.
Rip in peace the base. Oh, seven's the chat.
Oh god.
I made the mistake of
Is
not
it
making some
F?
tea
It's
before
F to
stream.
grieve. X to doubt. Oh my god. One of Call of Duty has had so many impacts on gaming, both good and bad, but one of their just biggest cultural impacts is press F to grieve.
F to pay respects is just such a fucking. It's so good.
Was that like Advanced Warfare or something? I forget which one that was. I don't think it
I
was.
I
It
don't know.
wasn't.
I've
It was
never been into
after.
COD.
It was after the Modern Warfare trilogy. Ooh. And then Childs.
Yep.
Now, some people are like, oh, you can't see Child's breath in this scene, so he must be a thing. Literally,
Mhm.
in the shot we just saw, you can see him
Mhm.
breathing. You can see his breath. I just want to take
Mhm.
away that, just because this movie's not meant to have a simple answer. We don't even know technically right now, even though it wouldn't really make too much sense. Even Kurt
Mhm.
Russell, like at the end of the film, is like, we don't know if McCready's like, a thing. We didn't see him for a little while. We don't know.
Mhm.
Ooh. It's just like we just don't know who's
It's
who, even at the end of the
it is a
film.
mystery. That's part of it. Nobody trusts anyone anymore.
Now, there's another
Not
theory
even us.
that John Carpenter himself has personally shot down, and that is
Mhm.
when Kurt Russell shares the drink with Childs. They're like, "Oh, that must be a Molotov, so that's gasoline," and
Mm.
John Carpenter's like, "No, it's not. That's alcohol."
Mhm.
However, you could say that the fact that he's very laissez-faire and doesn't care about infection could be indicative of like him being a thing.
Mhm.
But at the same time, I don't know if Childs understands that part of like that, like just how much
Mhm.
that's how it works. McCready does, but I don't know if Childs does. But also, I don't think Childs would possibly care at this point, you know?
I think they're so burnt out they don't care either of
Yeah.
them at this point. They're gonna die, you know?
Actually, a really cool thing about the game is when you find Childs in this hut, there's a
Mhm.
chess set, and in the script of the movie, McCready has a chess set, and they actually
Mhm.
sit down to play a game of chess at the end. Ooh. With McCready sitting on either a torch or a flamethrower.
Mm,
just ready to take them both out if
mhm.
necessary.
Interesting. I did not know that tidbit.
Yeah, that's how the script ends. It's not clear
Me.
if he has a flamethrower or a flare because it just says he has a torch. But that is John Carpenter's first studio film, The Thing, a actual box office failure, not a full on
Unfortunately.
flop because it did make back its money technically, but it didn't make back its money with ads. But it made up back enough so that he could still make more studio films. But considered one of his best films, personally my favorite John Carpenter film. Is there a movie? Is there any other John Carpenter movies you know of that you are fond of?
Uh, Honestly, I'm not huge on the Halloween series, I have to admit.
Ooh, you like the Halloween series, or
No,
you
I'm not
don't?
big on them. I actually can't say I'm huge on most slashers. They're all kind of samey, speaking as like a horror movie aficionado.
I like the first one, but the first one is good
Yeah, that's
because the
fair.
first one, which is actually I don't even know if it's the only one by Carpenter, but it's definitely by Carpenter. Um,
The first one has
the
more mystery to it.
that's the thing. Is the first one is it's a straight slasher, but
Mhm,
the ambiguity is the fact that they make him supernatural without ever making him directly supernatural. So like he'll do
mhm.
things that like if you think about it, it's like well that's not possible, but he's hyped up by the one person who should be he's just a crazy person. His psychiatrist is like no this is a monster, and everyone's like this is a
Mhm.
person, like don't be stupid. But then he just like picks
No,
up a
no,
dude
it's
and
just
sticks him to a wall with a knife, and you're like
yeah.
that knife's not that long, but you're okay with it because again the psychiatrist throughout the film is going this guy is a monster. He gets shot, falls out like a second story window, and he's just gone, and you're like he's a monster. you know, but at the same time he's still a person. Oh. But how
Honestly,
many times have you seen John Carpenter's The Thing?
I think this is now possibly the third
The
time.
third? I've lost count,
Mhm.
so I can tell you for myself.
Actually, now looking at the list, no, the only other movie of his I've seen aside from The Thing is
Escape
Big
from
Trouble
LA.
in Little China,
Big Trouble in Little
actually.
China. the one oh my god. One thing you have to do is you have to watch Escape from New York, then Escape from LA, because Escape from New York is just
Mhm.
classic 80s action, just
Oh, yeah.
absolute peak. And then Escape from LA is a straight faced satire of action movie sequels, and it's just absolutely amazing. It's up there with like Demolition Man for me, if it's a movie that's just like looking you in the
Mhm,
eye while making its joke, and it's really good because what it does is it just recreates Escape from LA 1-to-1,
mhm.
but turns everything up to 11, and that's the whole joke of the film, and
Yeah.
it's absolutely hilarious throughout. He doesn't
I also need to go
know how to
see,
use
They
she
Live.
cells. No, what was that?
I still need to go see They Live
They Live.
as
I
well.
watched just last week. I watched the commentary with John Carpenter and Piper.
Mm.
Absolutely great movie, with or without it. Another fantastic film. In all honesty, if you, even though I just watched it last week, you ever want to watch that, I could easily, I could easily be up to that. Ooh. Oh my god, I want to watch pretty much almost every John Carpenter film on stream at some point, because I just love so many of his films. Like I would love to
I
do Big Trouble
he's
in
just
Little
good.
China. He's
Mhm.
my favorite director. He's my favorite director, and Kurt Russell is my favorite actor. So all of their collaboration works are just godsends to me, and the fact that they have so many collaborations is
They just
just
worked well together.
oh yeah,
They just got along.
oh yeah. I actually probably will watch the Big Trouble in Little China commentary. Probably not this week because tomorrow I have to on the Discord. We're going to be playing around noon. Special features and the director's commentary, director Kurt Russell commentary for the movie, just because I like to do that for in general. I like to have both just play the film and then play the commentary track for people who are interested on Saturdays. But
Mhm.
we just watched the film, so we're just going to be watching special features and the commentary tomorrow. So if you guys are interested in that, it'll be around noon Eastern time. It'll be before Saba's debut for reference. So the movie's going to start at 2 at the latest. It's probably going to start a lot earlier than that. But yeah, I've really enjoyed this. It's one of my favorite films, honestly. Uh, I don't know what we're doing next, actually, for movies on this channel. It was going to be The Patriot, but I think The Patriot, because might just end up being a Discord watch along. So I'm not really sure
Mhm.
what might be next. I
Well, the
do
next
want to.
might be the 4th or the 5th, or if it's gonna be, like, next well, no,
Yeah,
no, that would be next week, though,
it is next
specifically,
week.
I
The
don't know.
4th is the next
Hmm.
week, but I
Oh,
just
yeah,
don't
it
know if it's
is.
if I'd want to jump into another stream watch along. We're definitely gonna watch it
Mhm.
on Discord at the very least. But it's also a really long movie. It's over like 3 hours. Is also the thing.
Ugh, I couldn't do that myself.
Yeah, this movie is only again just a good old 109 minutes. Which is just. I mean, that's
it's not a
almost two
long
hours,
movie.
but yeah, that's like
Mhm.
that's 10 minutes short of 2 hours, effectively.
There's some stupid long movies, this is not one of them.
Oh no, 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 not at all. Dolby Stereo. One movie I want to try, and I don't know if I'll have the time, but one movie I'm really trying to push for, and is to get musical artists to watch Whiplash, because that
Mm.
movie is kind of like low key torture for for
I've
musical artists.
heard I should watch that. Mind you, I'm
Oh,
not a music artist. The
it's
most music
excellent.
I did was I was in percussion in band.
You'll still appreciate the visuals because it doesn't only build tension through the music, it builds tension through the visuals as well. Like everything's shot in yellow for like not everything, but like there's shots that are in yellow and the yellow just makes you on edge. Like the movie is
Mhm.
designed to just be think of like just somebody just a string, tightening a string, and you're just
Oh,
wondering
okay.
when is it going to break? That's the
So,
entire film
if
from
there's a movie I
beginning
could
to
suggest
end.
that has that same kind of vibe, have you gotten to see Uncut Gems?
No, that's the Sandler movie, isn't it?
Yes, I look, it is one of Sandler's very rare serious films. It's
Oh yeah.
very good, but also, oh, it's like nauseatingly tense.
Sandler
I
does
would
like
recommend it.
every couple of years he does like a really dramatic role that's really good to remind everyone, oh yeah, he's actually a really good actor. Then he goes back to making really stupid films because he's like, I like to do these.
Mhm.
I mean, like
I mean,
he,
look, the stupid films print money
yeah,
too, so that's what
he's
matters
living his
for him.
life. He's enjoying
Hmm.
himself.
I would
What?
also say one film I would suggest for like also watching potentially. I have the DVD, but I don't have any disc drives on anything now.
Hmm.
Um,
I have an external
would
disk
be
drive.
Mandy.
Man, oh, that's Nick Cage.
That is like we're talking about goofy actors being serious. Mandy is excellent for Nick Cage actually being
Oh,
like wrangled into like
uh,
a workable
a
role.
great serious role for Nicolas Cage is Lord of War.
Yeah, Lord
That
of
one
War is also
is
good.
phenomenal for him. Ooh,
Hmm.
is this sorry, not Curse. Nicolas Cage is one of those actors who's just incredibly amazing, but you just need to have like the right lasso for him. You need him to be
Yeah,
interested in the film, or he's just going to be like, just doing his own thing. Like he needs to be really invested in like
Nick
in like giving
Cage
the
is a
performance you
spectrum
need.
between he has a spectrum between what he's doing in The Wicker Man and what he's doing in Mandy. And I gotta say, like, he's really good in Lord of War, but he shows so much range in Mandy. It's really
Oh, yeah.
good. He also is really funny in the one movie that's like a parody
The
of
Five Nights
FNAF.
at Freddy's one,
Yeah,
yeah.
like that movie's
The
actually pretty.
Wally's Wonderland or whatever it's called,
Yes, it's good.
where
It's
he
like
has
it is
no
stupid
speaking
good.
lines the entire
Hmm.
movie.
Where
Ooh,
he's just the soda guy, the soda and pinball guy. It's
okay,
just a
that's the short
ridiculous funny
story.
movie.
Ooh,
And yeah, I sent you a friend I would like us to go raid. He's a bit
okay,
newer to streaming. I don't think he's actually been raided before.
okay. Well, we will do that on the raid.
Pothole.
Which we're probably gonna do very shortly. I just ooh.
Mhm. But yeah, I wanted to get that short story over your way because it
He's in a
is
gun. That is a
excellent.
Gundam. That is a Gundam. Spacesuit. That is a Gundam normal suit he's wearing.
Yeah, he is a Gundam Mook. He wants to die in a valiant space battle. That's his character.
I want, that's the dream of any Gundam stan. Just, I want a 16-year. If I get killed by anyone over the age of 16, I messed up as a person. Okay, the younger the better. Don't clip that out of context. Sandler Sloth. Oh god, click that movie.
Yeah,
That you're just like, why is it like it's kind of a weird movie? Click until the end where it just has that incredibly emotional part, and you're just like, what?
Click was just, I remember that movie.
And
Oh.
that's that part though at the end where he's old and he's like, you can't waste your life, and then Christopher Walken, whose death for some
Did
reason.
he also do fucking Bruce Almighty or whatever? Or was that someone else? Because
Bruce
that movie was
Almighty
also
was
bad.
Plastic Face Man, The Mask. I can't keep
Uh,
canceling on myself. Was Jim Carrey? Was Jim Carrey?
okay. Well, honestly, all I can say is Carrie has really picked himself back up playing Eggman of all things. He
But
has been just
it
eating
was
that
like
role.
that one movie where like he erases his own memory only to realize partway through the erasure of like his memories that he wants to keep the memories because even though they're filled with pain, they're also filled with great joy. I forget what that's
I
called.
don't
Like it's
know that
like is
movie.
that the eternal sunshine of a spotless mind? Is that one?
It sounds like
It sounds
it.
right, but I'm
I
not
don't
sure.
think so.
But that movie I think was like one of his last, and then he's like, I retire. Then the creators of the Sonic movie was like, hey, you want to come out of retirement? And he's just like, no, movies have, drawn me out. It's like, you can play this character however you want. Like, this is the character,
Let's
Dr.
fucking
Robotnik. Do I have
go.
to look like that? No. Well, I want to look like that by the third movie, but not any sooner. It's like, do you think there'll be a third movie?
Mhm.
I'll make there be a third movie. Oh god. Carrie is great,
Yeah.
and I think he got his start in Living Color. Are you familiar with that?
No, I have not seen that one.
You need to check out In Living Color. Look up a Fire Marshal Dan. Ooh, I think it's Fire Marshal Dan, I think is the name. But what it is he's just like a fire marshal who's horribly disfigured, but all he does is he goes around telling people how to prevent fires by starting fires. So he's like, you see this outlet, and you just pull out your, your 1800 like antique family silverware, and you're just playing with it, and then puts it directly into the socket and just electrocutes himself. It's like, oh my,
Okay.
are you okay? It feels like nothing. He cuts
Minor
off his
correction.
fingers.
It's
Yeah.
Fire Marshal Bill, actually,
Fire
according to a
Marshal
quick look
Bill.
up.
Okay.
Yeah, because I was like, Dan, who's that?
Fire Marshal Bill. Let me show you
Yep.
something. Okay, but thank you very much for joining me,
Thank you for the
Atya.
invite.
I think we should be dying down. Excellent film. We kind of end up not about the film because we talked about the film during it. But
Yeah, but like it's a hard film to talk about at the start because you don't want to spoil things. It is
oh
very
yeah,
much of a you want to watch and observe and figure things out yourself kind of film.
yeah. It's a
As you
mystery
go.
film that you can watch over and over and over again, and they
Hmm.
never give you everything. So you can so there is a necessity of interpretation in it, which makes it such a wellspring to go back to over and over and over again. But I
Hmm.
will be sending our chats off. We already know where to send them on Twitch, so normally I rate out on Twitch first because it takes me longer to find someone. But on
Hmm.
YouTube, for once, it's going to take me longer to find somebody on YouTube. So we're going to find a place to link you guys out on YouTube. He doesn't simul stream, does he?
No, he's just on
Okay.
Twitch.
Then I would have looked him up there. We talked about Whiplash, so I'll send you guys to a musician VTuber or a musical VTuber. Oh, if
There
I
you go.
haven't linked out to him recently, but it's Zephy Sonus, a friend of Powerlines. Ooh, he's playing Uma Musume, which I think at least on
Oh,
YouTube might
everyone's
check.
playing the horse girl.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna play it next week. But
Mhm.
you can follow that link there, and for what? Oh shit! I didn't mean to do that. I hit clip instead, and I'm gonna have to just
Eh,
delete that clip later.
it's not too hard to
Raid.
delete. Yep.
Oh shit! I don't think I'm following him yet. I thought I was, but I don't. Let me see here. Search and so search by channels to raid. Lurkat.
Work.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think he
And
could
he is
really
playing
appreciate it.
Motorsports Manager Rough Riders. Ooh.
Yep.
And so we're going to be linking out to Lurkat. Lurkat
Thank you for
work.
joining, everyone.
Yep. Thank you for joining us. I'll be back next week on Monday to build either the Gundam X or the hobby Hyzak, depending if I finish Gundam X this week. What are you going to be doing before, they get over there? Because there's still a minute left.
Well, over on Atya_Tepes VT over on Twitch, I'm going to be going to play some more Half-Life on Monday because I'm finishing up some childhood nostalgia there.
Okay. And with that, I'll just say, have a great day, a wonderful life, and remember, don't lose your head.
I'll see you around, everyone.